But anyway, it might start raining. Yikes. Let me go get this pit bull out, and I'm going to put a sweater on it. And just these things get cold. That's why they're so cuddly. They show us one pit bulls that are always hugging each other. Yeah, tell me where these people live, because I'm willing to bet it's Iowa or something. They can't take cold. Absolutely not. And if you said the hair, and they're just not designed to. If you said what were they mostly bred in the South? I guess I can tell. Okay, hang on. So I'm specifically, oh, this is the blanket, Angie Marie. You know, you're doing that. These things get cold. I mean, you're not going to be able to just get it out there in the cold and train it and have it be happy. So your target is animation. And if you said why, oops. Oh boy, I hope I'm not on Wi-Fi on this stupid phone. Alright, you guys, we're back with Little Bim Bim Bim. And he's going to have sweaters and things, Carlos. I mean, you see, at least I got this macho sweater on him. But these things get cold. That's why they're so cuddly. It's true. That's why that bull terrier of mine is. Oh, it's cuddly, cuddly. As soon as it gets cold. So what is it, just using you? That's what it seems like. Oh, hi, Mike. I'm realizing it's just what seems so obvious to us isn't obvious to anybody else due to entrenched beliefs bordering on collective consciousness that this is how we behave around dogs. We tell them to sit, we pat them on the head, we say good dog, and yeah. Later when Timmy falls in the well, hell, Jesus, this thing is right there with paramedics, all of it. You need to dial 911. So what I've got is my Dog Treat 2 ADC, and Carlos, I want you to have this collar. If you said why, this is the pit bull, and you're gonna have to be uber responsible. It's a little bit, it's got that game eye in it. If you said, what's that? That's not what you wanted. You said, what should we augment that? Tendon doesn't exist. Oh, I gotta see if I got any packages. So I'm not saying anything. Brian, if you're there, I'm not saying anything. If you think me coming out here, go, sit, 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 sit. I said sit. That's what these effing people do. If you said who? Every single person. Every single person that brings them here. They say it's trained, and then they say it already knows how to sit. Yay! That's pretty clear. It's a puppy genius. Yay! No, you're going to have to be really committed, and you guys are going to have to invest more money. And Carlos is like, oh, God, no. You know, later, Carlos, or whenever. I mean, if you know, if this is your little, you know, if this is you guys' little first son / you know, co-parenting situation, I mean, if you think I'm being an alarmist, I'm not. You can say he's a very smart little dog. Oh, he's a good little guy. But if you said, what's my job? Control this thing's internal dialogue. Don't think you're going to correct it into behaving a certain way. This doesn't work. If you said, well, it works with me. If someone keeps correcting me, I go with what they say against my gut. Nobody does that. So I'm just appearing at the platform. If you said, how do you need to do it? How does somebody that doesn't know how to do it need to do it? You need to, oh crap, let me go grab my chalk. You know, we've got to have diagrams and stuff, because if you said, well, based on people's training, it does look like they're following a strict methodology that's got certain drills. Not that I can see. Not that it seems to be a lot of randomness, just sort of walking around. So, you know, you can't do that. It's got to be very... Yay! Yay! So if you said, well, that's just its natural behavior, grabbing a stick. Yeah. So I'm saying, okay, if that's its natural behavior, grabbing a stick, should I say, no, don't grab the stick, or should I manipulate the thing into giving me anything I look at? So this is where we're at, and this is what the problem with the ARC is it's too weak, and I'm still reeling. I'm still trying to decide if I was too harsh with Melissa, but who does that after this amount of time? I can't demonstrate things any more clearly for people, so it is like that Oprah thing. I'm responsible. If you think I'm going to say to myself, oh my God, I better get better, the doubts that people are seeing, they're seeing a lot of things that look sketchy. Especially compared to these other people using the ARC. If you said, oh, prove it, go back, find old videos where you're just ripping this thing. Don't worry, I can't. I'm on there saying they're not responding to this page. I don't know, Elliot. Because they're not responding at all, even the deaf ones. Oh, I'll go get that snippet. Yeah. I'm going to go find a snippet. Oh, it's going to be one of those GIF things. I don't even know what that means. But this will be the GIF one day. The dog training GIF, Mike. The guy can't even do a train to retrieve. Am I wrong? That'll be the GIF thing. But I'm sure there would be a GIF thing. They don't even feel it, not even the deaf ones. So the frequency, whatever it was wrong. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that was the conclusion that I came to. But these other people know better, so go with them. Honestly, it really, I was really tired. It really did upset me. I was like, oh my God. And the fact it was so important to let me know, yeah, let me just tell you, I doubted you, but not. Okay. I think if you would look back, people who were really, really your friends, I never doubted you. That's what I would say. I did. Once I realized I was wrong, and I certainly wouldn't tell the person. I wouldn't make it very important to let them know. Yeah, I thought you were wrong. Okay, so if you said, he just gave me the shake. He said, what about when you put on the sweater? Oh, then, if he said, what about the sweater? Well, he gave you the shake off. Oh, for sure. So you're making notes about that, but I think you have to be careful. And if he said, what, like, not always say, oh, he gave me the shake off. He might be accidentally. You know what I mean? Now, who knows? That could be a trick. So I'm using the smallest possible verbiage to indicate what I'm going to do. I'm not saying what you're doing is good. I'm saying that meet I'm coming over there. Meet me at Chuck E. Cheese. So, okay, so I got a dog, and that's what you think of. Everybody's seen a dog. I know many people that have figured out on their own, if their dog runs away, get in the car and go, hey, I want to go for a ride. There was one woman that called, yay. This dog, she had done that so much that she finally called me after when the dog saw her in the car, it took off running. But it had worked many, many times. She was able to open the door and sit in the car. But when that finally failed, she called Kelly. That was a long time ago. There's certain things I remember. And that thing, I don't know if you saw the video yesterday, Mike, remember I told you about Greg and the bite of the mother. I didn't remember that he had written that down. I just remember him saying that. And if you said, what was your response? What can only be described as a rambling monologue peppered with words like, you would have to be an idiot to believe that. If you said what happened, well, I think he hung up and installed a pager. So I did at least do that. Who the hell told this guy bited the mother? And if you said, who do you think told him? If you look it up, the American Humane Society says that too. If you said, is there such a thing as a mother dog that bites? Oh, absolutely. That one kennel I used to work for, they had that $14,000 Doberman. This was back in the 80s. The problem was they didn't have any bitches to breed it to, so they started buying these bitches. Well, there must have been something. That was, I don't know what it was, but these bitches would kill their babies. They had to be muzzled, and, in hindsight, they should have just C-sectioned them and done all that, but in a way that insurance don't let you, I think they don't let them do more than one C-section. Because they are looking, if you said, well, what are those dogs like? Well, clearly some nurturing. Some nurturing aspect that's causing them to view their babies as their enemy. Yeah, it was awful. Yeah, these were titled bitches, too. They were Schützenmann bitches or whatever. And if you said, well, what do you mean? You think the people probably had tried to breed them and then figured this out and then sold them to this guy? That's what I think. So, okay, so I've already got it going on the platform. So now I'm saying, well, now what can I do? I want to make sure this dog knows I'm hooked up to Wi-Fi. The remote needs to be a watch. That's what I think. if you said why, that would give them someplace to put their hands. Am I wrong, Mike? If you said, you know, that's the watch, and then you just are ready, you're not going to be able to keep. If the remote was a watch, and I said that a long time ago to Dogtra, I was ahead of my time. That was before Apple Watch. I'll go find the emails. They get a damn watch. People can't wear this thing on their neck. They keep sending down, they're losing it. And now they're walking around with this giant thing. They're going to get neck problems. That's what I told Greg about that round remote of his. I said, listen, you know, OMG. I said, you know, I'm training for 5 dogs at once. I can't have all these big remotes. I look like Mr. T with all these remotes. Okay, so what I've got is we're working on the deliver to hand. So if you're there, Brian, that's what your dog doesn't do. If it's gnawing and fighting and you're wrestling this thing out of its mouth all the time, yeah, that's what you're learning. You need to understand the problem. It's not how to better get it away from the dog. It's that he doesn't understand what you're looking for. I'm going to add the keys today. Oh, we'll never lose the keys again. And this is the pseudo phone. I realize I've probably got more cases around here for the old phone. If you say, well, I have a problem with mine, I just keep buying them. If you say, oh, if they're sparkling. If they're sparkling. So I'm being very deliberate, and I'm not saying anything. If you said, well, what I want is to be able to command dogs, people, everything to do my bidding. Yeah, no, that's not going to work. If you said, what's more effective? Oh, tricking them to do what you want. In the sweater, the shake off. So I do have some ritual behavior here. Rumble jumble, or whatever it is. Toil and trouble. He's fascinated by everything I do, and if you said, what is he looking with specificity at? My hands. If you said, so do a lot of crude gestures like reach for his ears. In order to say that would be effective, you would have to say, well, what does it mean another dog reaches for their ears? Because we would have to say whatever we do would somehow, they're seeing it through that filter. I can't go on anymore. Oh, you've got to keep your sweater on. You're going to get too cold. All right, look, so I've got my keys, the hummingbird, and I won't do the phone yet, but he's already ready to do it. So I'm keeping it close to my vest, and my job is to do my best job to try to get it, but if I can see it's a miss, to get my hand away. And if you said, what does that say? Well, that says it's his move. And so if you said, well, it seemed like you were kind of subtly moving like, yes. If you said the dog is making notes about your behavior, but it's not doing it consciously, Kelly. I'd say exactly. It's not consciously doing that. If you said, well, people subconsciously read other people's body language, we just don't. Yes, they do. If you said according to Time Magazine, Jesus, these are who, you said a bunch of intellectuals, that's who. You know, I tell everybody, have as many intellectuals as friends as possible. You're always going to have a different perspective. No matter what happens to me, no matter what my ridiculous emotional life brings me, whatever I say to Mark, the lawyer, who's probably the most intellectual person I know, he's a serious intellectual, he's never going to have the same reaction as I do, ever. You know, it just, because they're seeing the world through a more clinical viewpoint, and that's what you have to do in yourself. And that's why I have to talk to Millie's owner, because he was disappointed in Millie. And, you know, once we're adding disappointment, if you said, well, it's going to be an emotion, isn't it? Because you're sad. Oh, you're sad, disappointed. Anyway, Angie Marie, this is one of the blankets you gave me, and the other one, shoe bottom. Oh, she loves it. Oh, you can tell that's not a $10 blanket. Oh, that thing is cushy, and she's lays on it every night. So even right then, suddenly I'm moving away from the dog. Now, and if you said, what is my job? Any movement. Yay. And so he says, God, is that easy? You know, you've got to break it down that far. If you said, why later I might need it to move. Oh, he already gets the keys, all of it. Oh, he's going to get his own remote. right, gotta get your remote out of the way. You know what the climb? You know what would be good, Mike, with the climb? If it had like a little under hidden drawer thing. Well, no, like a little glove box thing that you could pop open and suddenly get the stuff out. Okay, so we got now. We'll add the phone. So just trying to figure out everything. So I'm going to be very deliberate about putting it in here. If you said, well, that's like a little kid playing Barbie. Yeah, if you watch a dog watching a little kid play Barbie, they're watching every little... I'm looking right through it. I don't even see them. All I see is... If you said what he's a little confused because they're together. That's what the problem is. Oh. And if you said, what did you like about that? He threw it the other way, but he kind of threw it. You know, and you're not looking. You're looking for any animation. I can't stress that enough to people. All right, so if he gets up on me, that's my reaction. I don't laugh or anything. If you said, what? You don't, you better tell, okay, so if you said no, now I can take it back to a micro task. We'll be able to pick up anything. All the keys, anything. You know, if you respond to that, but to correct it, you don't want, it's a sequence. Everything they do is sequential. So, your job is to initiate the beginning of the sequence. If you said somehow. You don't want the sit. I think you're better off to get out of the sit right away. He's getting very, very poor grades this morning, Carlos. Gotta just show them your attention is very behavior specific. If you said, well, that's how you're going to get results. You said, what now? Official-matic. Official-matic. I've heard you a little longer. Watch. The one-handed. If you can master the one-handed, am I wrong, Mike? And this dog does have more of a grip than if you said, oh, I've got another invention. Oh, you're not just full of them. Here we go, Mike. I call this the bird in a window. I'm pretty sure it'll be a huge seller. Oh, yeah. I got Chelsea making up an infomercial for it. Yeah, it's called the Bird-O-Matic for people that want to do trade to retrieve or deliver to hand and possibly bird dog. Carlos is like, I don't want a bird dog. It doesn't matter. The Bird-O-Matic. I mean, these inventions are just, am I wrong, Mike? Just unreal. You know, you want to flow to everything. That's why you've got to have the gloss and go as your potential. I worked it a little bit, but then I just switched to more of my inventions. Yeah, that was my strategy. You know, if I know I can get the behavior successfully, just marry it up with something else. That's all you have to do. You know, you saw how quickly the Bird-O-Matic. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you don't see these every day. Mike's like, I've never seen one before in my life. Probably never see one again after today. So, Carlos, what I'm going to need you to do is go and get a fish. Sure, it's going to be a little embarrassing at work when this is what your key ring looks like, but, I'll be able to explain it away. Oh, no. Oh, no. We'll just get like some kind of a fishing key ring. I'm sure they have a fish for a key ring for people that fish, if I had to guess. We'll go out and get one of those. And then if you lose your keys, you'll be fine. If you said, what about without the fish? No, not so much. My job is to continue to bring the dog to the handler as possible, all the way to the handler. If you said, because you want to avoid something called arm's length syndrome. Oh, the bird-o-matic and the fish-o-matic. It's all very exciting. All right, let's see if we can add a little distance now that now that he understands. I don't have any reaction to his jumping. I'm just going about I don't have any reaction to anything until I see that. And if you said, what did you like about that? I want you to look at the dog's posture of his ears, Mike. Oh, he was offering it as a gift. Not that time so much. And I think it is a good idea. So now, if you said, what's the end of the sequence? Now that's the end of the sequence. If you said, well, that's the beginning too. Well, that's how it goes. That's the beginning and that's the end. If you can't draw out, I think this is what people need to think of. If you can't visually draw out what your handler is doing, if it's kind of vague, well, that's not good. It's not. If you said, well, show me some retriever drills. I'm going to send you some of these retriever drills, Mike. They're very, very complex and precise. And if you said, are you that? No. But compared to everybody else, I am. So, that's what I say all the time. Somebody can be way more technical than me. If you said, oh my God, look at this guy. He just opened up a school. He's got all his fields. Because if you said, how do they do it? And they'll cut the grass in the field in a certain pattern. And if you said, under what premise? Then it's going to run along the path distance and go get whatever it is you put down there and come back and go back and keep following it. Oh, you know what? Kind of like the Bear video. I'll go find that one. Where you're doing little drills. And if you said that was as simple as those drills get, I'd say, oh, absolutely. That's as simple as it gets. Because if it was more complex, you could make the dog go this way, or that way, or that way, or that way. I'll go find that one video. I used to make Mark send me videos. Yeah. Remember how he was going to unfriend me when I didn't have text? This was a long time ago. I didn't have the right kind of phone or whatever. I was stupid. I only used my landline. I don't even answer it anymore. So I went and get the phone so I could get the text so that, God forbid, Mark doesn't unfriend me. Then, I'm not forgetting about this. So I now demand, I need videos. If we're going to still be friends, I'm going to have these videos. If you just said, did he come up with them? Well, absolutely. Absolutely. He came up with them. They're on there. There's a bunch of them. There was one where I was kicking the dog or something. He had sent me, I can't remember what it was. That was some helper or something. I was kicking this dog. And apparently, I had my glasses on. I wasn't looking at the video close enough, but I uploaded it onto YouTube. And Mark was like, oh my God, he's texting me like a maniac. He goes, oh, did you see that video? The guy's kicking the dog or whatever. No, I didn't see that part. I had to go back and delete it. Private. Let's see if I can find it. All right, so that's where we're at with this. So he will now, if your phone has a hummingbird's head to it, we'll find it. But, in between, I'm very blasé. I'm not just, oh, I love you, love you, love you. So I need you to do stuff for me now. I like certain things you do. Well, if someone likes certain things you do and you want them to like you, you do those things. Am I wrong? You do those things. There's a formula, to making. And if you said, what is this drill good for? It is for them looking at your eyes, to have some consciousness of what is this thing looking at. And you say, yay. He glanced at my eye and went like that. He's very weird. He's a very special dog, Carlos. He is. But, if you said, what is he? On some level, to me, this is a special needs dog. And if you said in one context, it's going to need a lot of training. And your guys are going to have to be way better trainers than with Charlie and Nala and whatever other ones. He said, because it's a pit bull. He said, well, give me one reason why I kill it. It's a pit bull. He's a little, because when I see him, like a little pit bull. And he didn't ask to be a little pit bull, but, if you do the wrong things, you're going to make something bad happen to him. That's the reality. But he'll be like your little butler. And I think he'll be a good, watchdog for Jennifer when you're working nights or whatever. If you said, what's the caveat to that? Well, you've got to understand it's, when they're more skittish like that, they're not going to be the type we're going to take down to the parade, we're going to take to the fireworks show and all this stuff. They're not. And if you said, well, what's, okay, so it's good house dog and everything's good watchdog when I'm not home and I'm at work or whatever. But then what don't we want? We don't want it taking over the house. If you say, well, then I get real secure in their own environment and start being jerks to you. You said, what are you basing that on? Oh, I see it every day. So you've got to get this platform. You've got to, what you don't want to do is come home from work and, him think anything other than what you ought to do. I mean, this is what I do. If you said, how do you trick them? I have a platform inside. And when I go in order to avoid, if I'm carrying groceries or anything, they're jumping around, they're trying to see what's in the bags or whatever. I just go in and go directly to that platform. They get right on there, and then I just give them anything. Cheese, Reese's Cups, anything. So I'm not setting up a dynamic where I'm, get off me, no, go. If you said, well, I already tried that, it doesn't work. Some people need to understand that you've got correction fatigue. I told Mike the other day, I still try it here and there. It's very sad. If you said, what, like with Elliot, where he won't go out of the garage, go around and or just go running out, start bullying another dog. What if you said, what do you mean? Jumping on their back and grabbing them, If you said, well, say no, leave it. Okay. I'll try. It's sad, I still do it. If you said, what do you mean? I stand at the shout, stop it. Like that's going to work. Some stationary handle, it doesn't work. Not really. Not really. All right, so let me see if I can sneak and put the Bird-O-Matic over here. Yay, it's fairly easy to trick him. He's got to say to himself, what God's name is this thing looking at? If you said, what's the precursor for that? Well, they got to care. And if you said, how do I make them care? Well, you've got to have systemic indifference. And that's why you don't... Hey, he gave it right with my hands. He put right with my hands. What this dog is saying to himself, Jesus, God, I'm unbelievable. I'm so successful. Me and my sweater and all of it. I'm a little pit bull. I can do anything. And that is, they've got a little can-do attitude. And you want to exploit that. If you said, well, I want to just pet it and all these things, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. They're cuddle bugs, though. They'll sleep right in the bed and stuff. Be able to get them because they get cold. And he's going to be a good watchdog, but it's not a lab. It's not going to act like a lab. I don't think he's any part of a lab. But you're going to have the collar, and you're going to have to explain it to Jennifer. You can't task me with starting at 0 from somebody I've known for ever how long I've known you, Carlos, to explain. It's too exhausting. It's like when people want to get a puppy, and I say it's something about crate training, and they say, what's crate training? Okay. I can't even, it's, if you said, what do you think that's beneath you? I don't think it's beneath me, but it's just too far back to start. I just don't have that kind of time. Now I'm impossible to get a hold of, Carlos.
If you said who can get a hold of you, only people I already know. I can't make any new friends. If you said what about new people, well, only if they say they know someone I already know. Yay! Oh, he saw it on the ground and he came running because he's a little pit bull. He's my pit bull butler. We'll start a whole series that'll be called My Pit Bull, My Butler. Yay! In fact, we'll get a little, I'll find like a little, whatever butlers wear. Do they wear a tuxedo? Whatever butlers wear. We'll get that. And we call My Butler, My Pit Bull. My Pit Bull, My Butler. Okay, so let me see if I can just put something else. It's fairly easy to, it's fairly easy to distract him. I can set that phone thing down pretty quiet too. All right, so now I'm obviously looking at something. And if you said, what's making that difficult? If it is out of their eyesight, and so there's your sit that you don't want. So I jockey. You know, if you have not set up a dynamic of systemically moving away from the dog, you're not going to be able to use that to your advantage. Is he eating the stick? If you said give him a hint. Some more treats, but you know, you see him thinking to himself, he says, gave him the shake off. That was the sweater, Mike. I forgot to tell you about that. If you said what that, it's called sweater shake off syndrome. They'll do it on something. You could probably actually install more. If you said, what would I need? If you said I need a dog to shake for a scene in the movie, how could I shape the behavior? And this dog, let's give him a tight little sweater. I'll give him a little tight little sweater that's a little tight around the waist. Oh, our new people. I can't wait to get the new playhouse. And I got my treating train. All right, let me run and grab some more treats real quick. Oh, look how cute he looks. Yes, I'm gonna get him more sweaters and various little, he's kind of like he's like a little biker butler pit bull. If that doesn't sell, I don't know what's going to. Would you like your pit bull to be sort of dressed like a biker and act like a butler? I mean, come on, how is this not gonna sell? All right, hang on, let me grab more treats. Anyway, he seems to burn off. But yeah, I kind of like that. My pit bull. Hi, Lorraine. How's Nico doing? Yay! So I didn't look for the dog, Carlos. You have to understand, they'll go out of their way to find you. You said, yeah, dogs can't be trained. That's all people train dogs to do. Search and rescue, police dogs, they're all looking for people. You said, how easy is it to find a person? You know, I've got 9 kinds of fabric softener in these clothes. I've got 9 shirts on. I've got, 9 kind of products in my hair. I'm like a neon light if this dog is searching for something foreign in the environment. I have 9 different kinds of hair products. I've got, to a dog, you're very... Okay, so he's over there, if you said, so what do I want to do? Oh, I don't know, eating poop or anything. Boomer! It gives me the shake up. So he was over there, and I did not stand there and call him. I never call him to the platform. You race him to the platform, and there is a difference. And you're giving the illusion that you're, whatever he's found over there, he's like. So, he knows. Yeah, that's what they do. So what do you do? They walk around, looking for stuff, anything. What to eat? What do you mean? Sticks? Yeah, sticks, anything. What about rabbit poop? Oh, don't worry, they gobble that up quick. Don't worry, you won't have any of that in your yard. They gobble that up quick. So put them and repeat the drill. Boomer! So I added the pager. I can now do the pager to get him coming and get him going, Carlos. So if you said, well, you should just call him from there. That's not helping you. If I'm adding the pager, again, if you said, well, now what's the pager? You understand that part. That's going to be the commonality between the handlers. And so the absence of a commonality between handlers, when you have handlers that are weak handlers, I don't want you to take that the wrong way either, Carlos. Everybody's a weak handler. I'm way worse than you, and I've got high expectations for you, Carlos. To me, you're the kind of guy, there's nothing this guy can't do. I don't want to be, well, this guy could do everything. I can't train a dog worth of shit, though. I don't want it to be that. I'm still upset over the other situation. I'm still not getting over it. And you said, I'm wondering why you're sort of acting sort of the way you're acting. Well, that's why I'm acting that way. Okay, so he's over there getting his stick. So here we go. Boomer! I want him to move around. Oh, we might be able to get him to it. Let's see if we can get him doing the footsteps. Oh, learn to do the... Oh, he can be no, here we go, a dancing butler pit bull. I don't know if you can see it, but, I was putting it in motion, and I was giving him the treat without turning around. I do, uh-oh, crap. MG. Sorry. Yay. He might lay down up there. Yay. So if you said, well, I'm a coach. Yeah, I'm a coach. You better be able to make it very, very small, and if you said, why? Baby steps. Yay. If I throw a big hoopity-doopity-doopity... Oh, Chase snuck out here. Okay, he might go running when he sees that dog. Watch. He doesn't know what to do, though. No, shoe bottom will be breaking out here. So he's kind of amped up now. I put her out. If you said, well, she wouldn't like him at all. If you said, well, how much would she like him? Not at all. So 0% like, yeah. So now he's kind of looking around. But what I want you to understand, what that is it's going to be, if he gets up there and starts looking that way again, it's going to be easy for me to get him to go this way. If you said, well, he's already making that an option, run back to the house, you know, so he's already got that in his mind as a plan. I think that's what we have to think of, Mike, the reason that's going to work. Oh my God, I must be on Wi-Fi. I'm going to get on data right after this. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. I just love my new inventions. Oh, they're so unique. One of a kind. All right, let's just do this, and then we'll do the footstool tomorrow. Lorraine wants to see you pick up the phone and the Fish-O-Matic. I'll go right online and find a fish keychain. You'll never lose your keys again, as long as you have that keychain. Oh, I'm letting him know right away, though. You know, you're speaking. Oh, I'm very deliberate about, you know, and if you said, well, where would people go wrong? Well, they're putting it in their lap, or you've got to tell them, don't set it down next to you. And if you said, well, the first time you say, no, 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 you know, if it's in here, it's pretty easy to have an immediate. All right, so he's doing great. So that's where we're at. We're doing the bigger picture, the recall, or getting him to go on the platform. And then this is more of a microcosm, but you know, you've got to have that for inside training. You've got to see, what is this thing doing all day? You know, what does he have to do all day? Oh, see, look, he's already snuggling up to me. Oh, because it's cold. Oh, he's already cuddling. Oh, he took his sweater off the other day, too. Oh, but he didn't tear it up. That's what I said. He took it off, but I can't guarantee that'll be good. Oh, looks like he already tore a hole in it. Damn it. Uh-oh. Let me turn off this. Oh, he's absolutely yay. You know, you need to be able, and I think maybe we can even get people into that much detail or whatever, but there are, you know, the only thing that's happening is the yay and maybe some facial expression. I'm not giving him the food. I'm not going over there. It just, his internal dialogue is yay. Their internal dialogue at that point needs to go, wow, what did it seemed like that. Now he's thinking of lying down. Yay. Driven to go up there, though, and there is a difference between yay, yay. So if you said one out of ever how many times you do go over there, so that's why he believes. It is important to understand the praise is indicative of the handler doing something, not the dog. The praise is indicative of, okay, so he's going. Yes, that was him shaking. If you said, what do you do? What do you do? Explain to me what you're doing. Yay! He does see the yin and the yang, though. Once he comes, he's looking to go somewhere else. You said, well, just make him sit there. No, that's not going to work. He's not going to be confident. If you said, well, the confidence that he has is a perspective that you've forced on him. Yeah, kinda, you know, kinda. It's not really any safer there than it is anywhere else, but his perspective that I have helped. Yay! Oh, the blanket helps too. Yay! Anyway, that's my friend Angie. I don't know if you saw that, Jamie. My friend Angie that brings me the wine. Oh, they're my celebrity friends. And Mike's on a TV show, and Angie is like this dynamo that can raise hundreds and thousands of dollars for charity. And they love Dobermans. That's really kind of cool in that Doberman. Anyway, but this is the blanket she gave me. But now I think I'm actually seeing, what does it say? Merry Christmas? Oh, but it's like a cow. They're very cowboyish. They talk with southern accents. Oh, you'd love them. They've got a southern accent. Their characters do, anyway. You know, but I'm not going to say sit. If he does, it would only be under the premise of us. Yay! Something you do. If somebody said something you do, I think it was kind of like on Seinfeld. You got to watch the whole Seinfeld, Jamie. If you haven't done that, if you said why, it'll teach you a lot about life. But it was the Seinfeld where they want Jerry to go because nobody could make this guy laugh. You know, nothing they did, and the only person that could make him laugh was Jerry. And then Jerry finally went there and he laughed and killed him. But, you know, you've got to... So this is what Jerry's doing, though. He's running through all his routine. So that's what you're, you know... If I'm trying to make somebody laugh, I'm running through my whole routine. And so that's what they're thinking. I'm running... Well, this is my routine. I got this, I I can sit, I can lay down. Yeah, that's all I got. Yeah, but it seems like that. You know, that's their internal dialogue. Yay. But what you probably do, you know, that's how we have to think of it, Carlos. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to message you and make sure you've got that collar, because I'm going to look up send me a picture of that ARC, what it looks like. I probably would have thrown the box out. But I'll go online and see. I'm pretty sure that you could, I don't know what the retail on that thing is, but you said how fast it'll sell. I don't think it'll sell the first day. I'll figure out exactly what price to put on it. If you said how fast was the first day, you said why? People like it because it's different. People buy it because it's different. And that's the key to the e-collar thing. In a world where everything looks the same, if you said, what about cars? Oh, absolutely. When Dodge came out with that Dodge Ram, everybody bought them. It was a very different looking truck at that time. If you said, then Ford decided we better make our truck look different too. So we better do that too. Oh, and we'll make all kind of crazy colors, all of it. Oh, it's getting so cold, I have to get him back inside. Oh, yay! You know, they've got to care what you want. But I'm not petting him at all. He's thinking of laying down. He just can't really, he can't really do it because he's too cold this way. But if you said, well, what do you basically get on? The precursor is where he's kind of like going in a circle. All right, I'm going to go get Millie out so that Grant and Gwen are not disappointed with her going after Olive. And if you said didn't get Olive back, no, I'm not going to let her be. She's not going to. She's like Buddy, though. Remember Buddy, Mike, that one video? If you said, well, just give me the Cliff Notes, Kelly. That was my line. You know how I do that. Anyway, I'll be right back. All right, you guys, I gotta go. Spray off the driveway. So my sonar poops in the driveway. All right.